Have you ever wondered what would happen if you got two unrelated words, put them together to create a new word that sounds like a superhero with the worst superpowers ever, but make it eco-friendly? No, me neither, but Cougar did with their new case, the Airface Eco.
You do realise that's 3 words, right?
Wait a second. How did you get in here?
I've always been here.
Sure. Anyways, Airface Eco is actually 2 words to make 1 word with another word added, so technically it's 2 words still.
Are you mansplaining English to me?
No, I don't think so. Well, don't you have an ad spot to read?
This video is brought to you by VIPSCDKey.com. Have you ever installed Windows 11 only to see the watermark of death? You don't need to fork out a couple of $100s for a key. You can grab one from today's video sponsor, from VIPSCDKey.com for a tenth of the price. You can use our code GEAR to get 30% off for this month only. How good is that? That takes that already cheap Windows 11 key and makes it even cheaper. It's easy as placing your order. Bingo bango. You've got your new key on your orders page. You chuck that key into the activation screen and you're good to go. No more watermark of death. Use code GEAR to get 30% off for this month only. Link in the description. On with the video. Back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Glazer. Appreciate it. All right, let's get the panels off the Airface Eco. First of all, you want to loosen the captive thumb screw on the TG side panel. Put your thumb in the top of the panel and kind of pop the panel away and then lift it away from the case. The back side is very similar, except it's not tempered glass. Loosen the captive thumb screw, lift the panel up and away from the case. To remove the front panel, put your hand underneath the front lip of the front panel, give it a yank, and then lift that away from the case. There's one last panel. The top panel can be removed. You remove these 2 screws and then you can lift that away from the case. This will make it easier for fan and radiator installation later. There's 3 included dust filters. There's one behind the front panel which slides out with this nice little rubber tab, and this can be easily cleaned. There's also a magnetic dust filter on the top of the case that can be lifted away quite easily and easily cleaned, and there's one where the PSU shroud is as well, but it's a small one. As for power supply support, the Airface Eco supports up to 200mm long power supplies. The drive cage at the front can also be removed as well, just in case you're having a bit of trouble with installing all of your cables. As for storage, you've got 2 of these removable 2.5-inch drive sleds. They can be removed with the captive thumb screw, and you can basically just screw your drive to that if you really want. Who's using these drives anymore anyway? And then there's a removable cage at the front of the case, which will allow you to install 2 more 3.5-inch hard disks or spinning rust drives. There's 2 pre-installed 180mm fans at the front of the case. These are 3-pin 5V addressable fans, as well as another 120mm fan installed on the rear of the case. Again, addressable RGB. The 2 front fans are PWM, and the rear fan is, for some reason, a 3-pin DC powered fan. However, there is an integrated 3-pin 5V addressable RGB controller, which can be connected to your motherboard for pass-through, and you'll also need to plug in some SATA power for the extra power. As for cable management, I don't think it's too bad here with the Airface Eco. There's a set of rubber grommets along the top edge of the back of the motherboard tray to allow pass-through for fan cables and EPS power cables, as well as some grommets at the bottom of the case for passing through USB cables and the front panel connectors. There's 3 Velcro tie downs to help with cable managing all of the cables plugged in, so like your 24-pin power cable. You can actually run your EPS cables this way as well. And there's a cable bar from an NZXT case, because this case is a bit of a parts bin case. I can't even make this up, guys. It's like Cougar went to the parts bin for both Antec and NZXT and then put them together to make the Airface Eco, but it's not a bad thing. This case doesn't suck. Well, if we're being technical about it, with that front panel design, it kind of does suck. Not in a bad way, it's more like a verb. It sucks.
Yeah, boy.
As far as fan compatibility, up front, obviously you can do those 2 180mm fans, but that's not your only option for the front of the case, because it does include these 2 brackets here. This will allow you to remove both of those 180mm fans and either use a 120mm fan set, a 140mm fan set, or install either a 240, 280, or 360mm radiator at the front. Up top, you can do up to 3 120mm fans, 2 140mm fans, or up to a 360mm radiator. As shown before, the top panel of the case is removable, and it does make it a lot easier to install fans and radiators up there, and also just building in general. Lastly, on the rear of the case, it'll either do a single 120mm fan or a single 140mm fan. For motherboard support, the Airface Eco will support motherboards from ITX all the way up to CEB and EATX, because that NZXT cable bar, the Cougar cable bar can be moved. You can just unscrew it and then move it to a further forward position. If you want it to be an absolute legend, kind of like me, and you wanted to air cool in this, you can do up to a 190mm tall air cooler. As for GPUs, the Airface Eco will support GPUs up to 390mm in length. That's 15.4 inches in freedom units. That was a terrible impersonation. It also supports vertical GPUs with the removable bracket at the rear. You can basically loosen 2 screws, rotate the whole bracket, and it'll allow for vertical GPU support. However, you'll need to bring along your own riser cable. As well as that, there is an included GPU support bracket. As you can see here, bracket goes up, bracket goes down, bracket goes up. For front panel wiring, we've got a lot of it that you don't care about. Front panel audio, we've got a block for the lights and switches. We've got USB Type A and then a USB Type C cable. For front panel I/O, we've got a USB Type C port, 2 USB Type A ports, a combined headphone and microphone jack. There's a reset button, which is actually wired up to the RGB controller for RGB control, as well as a power button with an integrated power light. That's everything I think you need to know about the Cougar Airface Eco for now. Let's do a build. In fact, let's do one better. I'm going to purposely choose a bunch of mismatched looking hardware to see who doesn't watch this part of the video. It's Airface time. I don't know why I said that. Microphone check 1, 2. What is this? Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna do it like this because this is kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
Alrighty, let's take a look at those thermals. What you're seeing on your screen right now is the thermals are pretty good, especially for a 9900X with an air cooler. These 6CCD chips get very, very warm, and I think this is a pretty good effort for this Cooler Master cooler. As for the GPU temperatures here, you can see that they're very, very good. We did see this with our 9070 XT testing. Link to that video down below in the description if you want to check that out. But overall, the thermals for this aren't too bad at all, especially for a completely air-cooled system and for a system with parts that I picked purely to see if someone would comment. about why they are such strange parts and such a strange combination. But if you're interested in any of that, there's a PC part picker list down below. You can check that out at your own leisure. And don't ask me why I'm holding the microphone like this. It just felt comfortable at the time. I've got to put this back to normal. Otherwise, I look like one of those weird TikTok influencers walking around the street, annoying people. I can just annoy people normally anyway.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. All right, party people, what do I think about the Cougar Airface Eco? It's really not that bad. I really dig that front panel with that design. I do wish though that on the corners they were open like the rest of the front panel, but I can see why they did it because they have the pegs and supports to help connect the front panel to the chassis of the case. But overall, I really don't have anything bad to say about this case. It's really well built. However, as I did mention in the build section of the video, it does feel a little bit like a parts bin PC case with parts from NZXT and Antec. It has the same NZXT cable bar that we've seen for the past 15 years, and the build quality is like Antec's cases, but the higher end cases. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is strange that they got a bunch of design elements from a bunch of other cases. Dude, that is literally every single case ever made. As far as cable management, as you can see with this clip on your screen right now, it's perfectly adequate. These cables that I used are quite thick and I kind of just jammed them in there, stuffed them in, gave it a little bit of... Huh? I don't know how I just did that with a straight face. What is going on with me lately? Okay, maybe you're asking, hey Nick, what's your favorite feature of the case other than the front panel? I like that it comes with two 180mm fans up the front. It's a very strange fan size. We have seen Fractal use this size fan before. I don't hate it. Oh, I think I missed talking about that dust filter. If you're interested in the Cougar Airface Eco, it's such a stupid name. If you're interested in getting your hands, oh, it's such a hard name to say for a case because it just sounds ridiculous. Airface, why Airface? It just...
Was the front is the face.
I really like editing videos, guys. The more footage, the better. The Airface Eco is going for $109 US at the time of filming this video. And for a case that has 3 included fans, especially with a weird size like two 180s, not a terrible price. Also, it's got an RGB controller in there. Let us know what you think about the Airface Eco. Let's go on a side quest. Tech on YouTube is so f***ing serious all the time. Stop. I'm tired of it. I'm still gonna get angry because that's in my nature, but I'm not gonna make videos talking about how upset I am about this one thing that's gonna get views and make ad revenue for about 15 days. It's just not what we do. We've never done it. And I don't watch that kind of content.
I'm so confused by you today.
Yep. Everyone is always so negative about this stuff, and it gets really tiring having to be so serious and so angry about tech all the time that everyone's doing the wrong thing. But when a case like the Airface Eco comes along and kind of surprises you, it's a nice change. However, it is straight from the parts bin. That's not a bad thing.